Mayor, we just heard from Darren Gore, of course, and he's been involved in a big project, the one on Butler Drive,
Yeah.
which involves our trash issue and what we're going to do in the future with it. So we should talk about that project. Not long ago, they had a public informational meeting regarding the project there. And the one thing that we should note is that regardless of what happens with Middle Point, regardless of anything that we do in the future, we have to have the ability to transfer garbage from a garbage truck that goes into a residential area
Sure.
to a larger semi that would transport it out of our community to another landfill. So this transfer station is needed regardless.
Yes, and Mike, there's been so much disinformation about this project on Butler Drive that I don't even know where to start. I can say that over the last 10 years, we really have been working on solving the solid waste issue that we have in Murfreesboro. And I tell residents that live in that Indian Hills, South Murfreesboro area, with what we've gone through really over the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, of course, we're in a federal lawsuit with Republic Services now over the landfill. There is no chance in the world that the city council would want to take and transfer one problem from one area to another area. And going back to 2014, we did a solid waste study that came up with solutions for the overall resident. And right now, when we pick up trash on the south side of town, we truck that trash all the way across the city of Murfreesboro to Middle Point landfill. And that can take anywhere from 2 to 3.5 hours to be able to make one trip. So that means that for 2.5 hours, our trucks are not on the street. I mean, the last count, I think we're up to picking up 55,000 cans per week in the city of Murfreesboro. So our thought is the quicker you can get those trucks back on the road doing what they need to be doing, which is picking up trash at residents, that's important. And so this transfer station is a negative pressure building that is built where the trucks will pull in, tip their trash, they get back on the road. It's self-enclosed. They're all over the country where there's no smell issues, there's no waste issues, there's no runoff issues. And then we put all of that into a semi-truck and then we take it to the landfill. So it saves money overall for the taxpayer. And I joke, I'm on WGNS all the time, and I say that, you hear there's 2 things in life that you can count on, death and taxes. Solid waste being expensive is a third one. Solid waste is not an issue that's going to go away, and it's an expensive issue.
So this transfer station has another element to it that has possibilities, but would have to go through future approval from the planning department and the council. Correct. And also from TDEC for permitting. But that would include a company called WastAway.
Yes.
Where, if the process would work, it'd be great. It'd be great for the environment. It'd be great for
Sure.
sustainability. But the thing is, it has to be cost effective for the company and for people involved. Right?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some good news come out here before too long of some things that have happened with the WastAway process. We really have looked at the transfer station as the primary because that's something that even before we started talking about alternative landfilling, talking about all the other options, that transfer station has been part of the plan for a long time because we, as the city grows, we need transfer stations around our city. But, really looking at what is that next step when Middle Point closes. And we went through this WastAway process to really get more information. And, what the process basically does, it's a recycling process, a renewable process to where there's no burning. That was a big rumor that we were going to be burning trash, which is not correct, that we were going to be creating explosive materials, which is not correct. So what we've tried to do is find a process that creates, this WastAway process creates this material called SE3, which is a fluff that can be used in different burning apparatuses, not here in Murfreesboro, but like coal kilns and cement kilns and some of those things. The EPA has approved that as a clean burn alternative, and so these companies buy that fuel to be able to reduce their carbon footprint. In turn, we have got a process that will create renewable natural gas that goes into the system, and the city gets credits from the federal government. So we're trying to really overall unturn any stone that would solve a solution or solve a problem for the city, but also not cost the taxpayers money. You know, that's important.
Of course, we put some money into the transfer station, the construction of it, the land, but the financing for what WastAway does would come from private dollars.
Yeah, that's not going to be financed by the government. You know, I think we would in turn end up being a long-term user of taking that trash. But, you know, we've been very clear that, you know, we're not in the speculation business. That needs to be done on the private sector. And so that I can see a private-public partnership where we are supplying the material, and we've got plenty of it to be able to supply, but the private company would have to be able to handle the rest of that. You know, it's important for the resident to know that we're not going to go out gambling on, you know, what could happen with taxpayer dollars. That's just not beneficial for the city of Murfreesboro.
So more news to come in the future on the financing of that endeavor, perhaps.
Yes, I hope so.